For some reason, the spring 2021 anime season has been dominated by high school girls. Even some high school boys have been getting dominated by high school girls. But instead of saying I wish that was me, I'd like to analyze the two different ways we can address such a dangerous topic. There's of course the legal route, and then there's also the prison route. Oddly enough, this anime season is putting both routes on full display at the exact same time. This video is all about high school girls, so if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing. You know what, let's not make it weird. Just remember that the like button is over the age of 18, so you can legally smash it as long as you ask the comment section for consent. I shaved, and then I brought a high school girl home. Don't worry, officer, that's not a confession, but instead the name of one of the anime I'll be discussing in this video. A grown man named Yoshida drunkenly stumbles upon an underage girl who doesn't have a place to sleep. It's the middle of the night, and she's completely defenseless, but just in case that didn't already sound like every wet dream Kazuma's ever had, the girl straight up offers to have sex with Yoshida if she can sleep at his apartment.
Got yourself a goddamn deal.
He lets her spend the night, but like a responsible adult, Yoshida rejects her sexual advances, and then checks out her tits. They are kinda massive to be fair, and I found it funny how she very clearly says papa.
Okaeri, papa.
But the translator was like, no, let's make her say daddy instead. Something that wasn't so funny was how she repeatedly offered her body to Yoshida despite admitting that she has no interest in him whatsoever. It's clear that she's got some very deep-rooted issues that I assume are scheduled to be explored later in the story, but you can already tell from the first episode that her character has a darker, tragic side to it in contrast to the positive, upbeat facade she uses to mask her true feelings. I already feel really bad for her just considering the circumstances she's been putting up with, giving her body to ugly bastards every night in exchange for a place to sleep. It sounds horrible. But luckily, the protagonist does the right thing and seems to genuinely care about her. Because of that, this anime is actually really wholesome. It also tackles important issues like runaways, which are a lot more common in Japan than you might think. Or not, I have no idea, I just made that up. But something that isn't common in Japan are anime protagonists who actually have morals and set a good example for us viewers. This anime is a realistic instance of how to properly handle a dangerous situation that does occur quite often IRL. Higehiro is wholesome, refreshing, sweet, and has a good message too. I would strongly recommend watching this one weekly because anime like this are very rare to find, but very important to have. Meanwhile, this anime airs literally the same day as the last one, yet it's basically the polar opposite, and watching it makes me feel like I should be using a VPN. Koitoyobu or Koikimo is about an ordinary high school girl who's just minding her own business when suddenly a 27-year-old man appears. He immediately tries to kiss her and randomly falls in love with her after she rejects him. He then proceeds to obsessively stalk this girl, harassing her even after she tells him to stop multiple times. He calls her at 1 AM, he starts mailing shit to her house, and he even shows up at her high school. Now, if this was just the story of a creepy guy being creepy, that would be fine with me. My issue is that the creepiness feels unintentional, and it's rarely ever addressed. The writing paints these two as a cute couple, but none of the other characters have the slightest problem with that. Even the chick's mother allows a grown man she just met to go upstairs and hang out in her daughter's room unsupervised. Of course, it's just an animation, so I'm not gonna fucking cry about it, and to be honest, there were a few moments that made me laugh. But it's definitely a weird anime, regardless of whatever Japan's laws are. In fact, I don't even know if they're in Japan, because the setting feels more like a parallel world where the concept of consent was never invented. So basically Mushoku Tensei. But if you ask me, this anime can still be redeemed. In case the author happens to be watching this video, I know how to save your series. This one easy trick will add at least 5 inches to your anime's mal score. All you gotta do is follow these 2 simple words. Prison arc. A surprise twist where the protagonist actually faces consequences for his actions would absolutely save this anime and make it a lot more interesting, to be honest. I'm still gonna watch it weekly either way because I've literally never dropped a rom-com, but I can't exactly recommend it because of how creepy it is. Something I can recommend is Bully Me Nagatoro-san, also known as Toy With Me Nagatoro-san. The don't at the beginning is silent. This first episode was a wild ride, but I think I liked it. She kinda reminds me of a mix between Takagi-san and the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony. Nagatoro-san's authority gives her the ability to alternate between a tooth fang and a skin fang, and also her body's made of rubber. This anime was a lot more visually appealing than I expected it to be. There were a lot of great shots, as well as some pretty demonic facial expressions. In a different anime, Nagatoro could easily be an awesome villain, and to be honest with you, as someone who can relate to being the quiet kid who always got anxiety from hot girls, to me this felt like a fucking horror anime. I'm legitimately afraid of Nagatoro-san, and I feel really bad for this poor guy. He's such a loser, I can't even remember his name, which is why I find him sadly relatable. He's so irrelevant, he reminds me of my YouTube channel when ReZero isn't airing. The more this dude cries, the happier she gets, but towards the end of the episode, Nagatoro apologizes after realizing she went too far, and the two characters have a nice little moment together. I expect a bit of romance to emerge at some point, hopefully during the season, but realistically I know I'll probably have to read the manga to find it. I also heard there was some controversy on Twitter about Nagatoro's appearance, which might be the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So far this anime isn't bad, but even if it was, I would still be just as excited to watch it because the entertainment value is so incredibly high. Can't wait for the next episode, I would highly recommend watching this. Osamake is another high school rom-com that kinda came out of nowhere. This chick is your typical high school celebrity, so obviously the protagonist wants to get her pregnant or whatever, but his childhood friend Kuro isn't gonna let that happen. Something about her I admire is how she discloses her emotions with zero hesitation. She's very open about her feelings, even in front of the entire class. She's obviously best girl and even shares a voice actress with Rem and Hestia, so I really hope she ends up happy. What worries me is how the title sounds a lot like a red herring, and the harem tag means the story has a very low chance of ending. This is just another typical rom-com, not exactly the most brain-melting plot, but that's exactly what I like about it. If you're a weirdo like I am, you'll probably enjoy this one as long as you're willing to sacrifice a few brain cells along the way. Zombieland Saga is low-key pretty good. The main character is a high school girl, which means you're not allowed to smash her unless you're a truck. You probably forgot about this anime after watching the first episode a few years ago, but it surprisingly is a lot more than just the truck meme. The premise is very unique, there's a lot of good humor, the music is decent, and I guess the girls are okay, but this dude kinda carries the show in my opinion. I would highly recommend Zombieland Saga to anyone who wants to accidentally watch an idol anime, although arguably the best thing about Zombieland Saga is that you don't have to be a fan of idol anime or necrophilia to enjoy it. Finally, my favorite high school girl of all time, Kaguya, is getting an OVA this season. It doesn't air until next month, but this is one of the few series that deserves a 10 before it even fucking exists. It's probably the best rom-com ever, and just between you and I, this OVA is confirmed to be a swimsuit episode. Or at least one of the chapters is, you know how they split up the episodes. But yeah, Chika will be wearing a swimsuit, so buckle up your chastity belts and get ready to question your morality. Just in case you're too lazy to Google it, May 19th, 2021 is the release date for the OVA. I repeat, May 19th, swimsuit episode. Very important. My name's Echidnut, and I'm 3 weeks clean of my ReZero addiction. Please drop me a like to support this non-ReZero content. I really do appreciate everyone who's sticking with me during this experimental phase of my channel, even though you probably subscribed only for ReZero. Thanks so much for watching, especially those of you that made it all the way to the end. I'm out for now though. Keep talking about high school girls. Here's a kiss goodbye.